So you've heard the line, never let them see you sweat.
It comes from a deodorant commercial dating back 35 years.
Now, a little antiperspirant may be the easy solution for some, but those dealing with a condition called hyperhidrosis, it's not that easy for them.
Dr. Ava Shamban is a dermatologist joining us to talk about excessive underarm sweating and what can be done about it. Thanks for joining us, doctor. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Happy to be here. So the condition that you mentioned, axillary hyperhidrosis, otherwise known as underarm excessive sweating, is a medical condition. And people who have this condition sweat 5 to 6 times more than the average person. And 11 million people in the United States have it. It can affect children as young as 9 years old, and men and women equally, and go on through an entire lifetime. But it's important to remember it's not just like, sweating like an average person does. It's really excessive sweating.
So, doctor, what causes it?
No one really knows what causes it. It seems to be related to the nerves going into the underarms, that they're releasing extra acetylcholine. It's unclear. But the good news is there's now a brand new FDA-approved, non-invasive topical treatment that's called Qbrexza. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about it. I mean, the Qbrexza comes in these little packets, and you just open them up. There's a cloth that has the liquid medication in it, and you take the cloth and you apply it one underarm and then the other underarm. You throw the cloth away. It's just once a day. Wash your hands, and you're done for the day.
That's
so
pretty
it's
remarkable.
Pretty incredible.
And, you say people sweating.
I also should mention there are potential side effects of urinary retention, blurred vision, dry mouth. Like with any prescription product, you can have these side effects, but they're best avoided. If they happen, they're very temporary, but they're best avoided by really carefully washing your hands after you apply the medication.
And it's not because people are living in tropical climates that they're sweating more. These people will sweat in any type of atmosphere or climate. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So it doesn't matter. So if you go to the gym or the temperature gets hot, everybody's going to perspire. But what the difference is that when you go, what person who has this condition goes into a cool room, they're still going to sweat. They get out of the gym, they're still going to sweat. So of course I treat these patients, and they say they come in, they can only wear black tops. They can only wear, other certain types of clothes, because it ruins the clothes. So it's very expensive. And also, it's embarrassing. I mean, 78% of people who have this condition feel depressed. I mean, can you imagine? You go on a date and you're like, it's Niagara Falls under there. I mean, that's not good.
Right, and that's where it can really affect people's well-being. So you want to get the word out that, people are often suffering from anxiety, depression, some pretty serious mental health issues because of this.
Yeah, it becomes like a vicious loop, where you start sweating, you get depressed, something happens, you get depressed, you sweat, it's terrible. And so the good news is that there is this wonderful new FDA-approved treatment, and you can go to Qbrexza.com and find out more about the treatment. And also where to find a board-certified dermatologist to prescribe it for you. And
you mentioned earlier, you can't imagine a young child sweating like this, but I guess some kids do, and this is approved for young children also?
Yes, as young as 9 years old. And so, yes, you have to really, we're all paying so much, hopefully we're paying a lot of attention to our children. And it's such a stressful time for kids in general. It always has been. And so if they're sweating a lot, that's mortifying to a child. And so it's important to know that your child as young as 9 years old can have hyperhidrosis, and that there's this wonderful, just topical treatment, Qbrexza, for it.
And I guess it's also a confidence issue. When you have this disease, it's kind of good to know, get diagnosed, so you realize it's not just you and your anxiety or anything like that. This is a problem that needs to be treated.
That's correct. It's no fault. It's no fault of your own. It's like saying that, migraines are your fault or psoriasis is your fault. It's a medical condition. It's a medical condition that has a treatment.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing more information, doctor.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, to learn more about the Qbrexza towelette Dr. Shamban discussed, head to Qbrexza.com. That's Qbrexza.com.